With Zoochosis recently releasing their second teaser trailer, I wanted to talk about some of the questions that the devs have been answering in their Discord server, because they actually reveal quite a bit about the game. So let's take a look at some of these questions and see if we can't uncover any new details about Zoochosis. The first question is arguably the most important. When will the game be released? Right now, we are being told that the planned release period is Q2 2024. Q2 is April 1st to June 30th. At the time of making this video, we are already in April. Therefore, we can expect to play this game very soon, within the next couple of months, which is really cool to think about. However, keep in mind that we still do not have a set date, so it wouldn't surprise me if the release date got pushed back to Q3 or 4. Regardless of which quarter, we should expect the game this year. The next question is regarding the fisheye effect that we've seen in both of the trailers now. This effect is really cool, however, it can cause headaches and whatnot for some players. So the question is, will this effect be the only way to play the game? And will there be a setting to turn it off? Yes, we will be able to turn the setting off in game. They understand that it might not be suitable for everyone, so the body cam effect will be very light. This is great to hear. I am a fan of this effect, although I've never played through a full game using it, so I'm not sure how I would actually feel about it long term, but the fact that we are able to turn it off if needed is nice. Now, let's talk about some of the questions related to the game's story. The first one being if the game is story based or just procedural generated, meaning is there a true story or will there be just tasks that we need to complete in each animal enclosure? Well, the game will have a fleshed out, thoughtful story, meaning there will be an overall story behind all of the tasks we do. I'm assuming it will be about the parasite, how it got into the zoo, and saving the animals, which leads to the next question. What is the story about, and will there be any kind of Easter eggs? The dev mentions how the game will have a very interesting story with many endings. We will be able to influence the outcome of the game. This means that there won't only be one ending, there will be multiple, and the choices we make throughout the game will determine the ending we get. This is something I've talked about in one of my previous videos, how the choices we make matter. The Steam store page even mentions this, saying, which animals will you save? Will you survive? There are many endings depending on the choices you make. Not only does this bring the stakes higher during our gameplay, but it brings a lot more replayability to the game. So this won't be just a one and done playthrough, which I can really appreciate. The next question is, will there be a perfect ending? Yes, we will be able to save all of the animals, and I'm sure a lot of people will be glad to hear that. Now let's talk about some of the animal questions, because there are a lot with some very interesting answers. Will there be any aquatic animals? In other words, will there be any fish or sharks in the game that might mutate and whatnot? Unfortunately, no, there is not any in the game yet. There might be some in the game later on, but we will come back to this. Staying on the topic of animals, will there be any others than what we saw in the trailer, like lions, tigers, or sheep? They don't want to spoil too much yet, but that doesn't mean that those animals will or will not be in the game. So the animals that we know will be in the game so far are giraffes, gorillas, penguins, kangaroos, zebras, moose, elephants, hippos, and wallabies. That's a pretty decent amount. However, we can definitely expect to see more. You might have noticed that none of the animals that I just listed off are considered predators. Therefore, I think we can assume that a few might be in the game, like lions, tigers, and more. The fact that they don't want to spoil anything could mean that these predator animals will be playing a big role in the game. They could be sort of a final boss or something along those lines. I can only imagine what a mutated tiger would look like. Which leads to the next question. Do all the animals mutate? Yes, each animal will mutate. You might have noticed that they haven't shown what each mutation will look like. This is obviously because they don't want to show too much off yet. Now, will each mutated animal look the same? Or will there be different versions of them? Yes, each animal will only have one mutated form. We have already seen this with the giraffes. We actually see two next to each other in the second teaser trailer. Both have spider-like legs and their mouths are split open. Also, keep in mind that both are out of their enclosure, which makes me think that they might be freely walking around the zoo, meaning during this game we might have to periodically hide from the mutated animals. A big question I think everyone has is, what's the deal with the tied up human? And is he infected? The dev says she can't answer any questions about the plot of the game yet. We will find out more once we play. So this tied up person person seems to have a big role in the story, considering she doesn't want to mention anything about it. I'm not too sure why we would be grinding this person up. In the first trailer, they made it look like this human was infected. Maybe they are the previous zookeeper. Which brings me to my next question. Can we, the player, get infected? The dev mentions that this is a secret. We will find out about it when we play the game. So yeah, I think this means that there is a chance that we could get infected. This could be one of the endings. We end up getting infected and dying, or even mutating. Or maybe we get infected and we need to make a cure for ourselves. Who knows? Regardless, the fact that she said it's a secret definitely means something. Now, will there be any other humans, or will we be alone in this story? Yes, there will be other humans in the game. This could mean a few things. Maybe we run into other people or employees that could end up getting infected, that we could potentially save. Or she could just be referring to the other human we saw tied up in the trailers. I find this very interesting because the trailer makes it look like we are alone. So I wonder how many people we will see in the game. Considering we are a night zookeeper, the zoo will be closed. Therefore, don't expect to see park guests or even a lot of people. So will the game take place in one night or several nights? The game will only have one night. So this means that the infection might only take place during our shift, and we will only get one night to cure all of the animals before the zoo opens the next day. I was not expecting this. I thought that the game would take place over a few days, so it's interesting to see that it will all happen during one shift. Now, will there be any DLC for the game? The dev answers with, there will be one night and many endings. We are also planning a DLC with new animals. So like I mentioned before with the aquatic animals, they could be in a future DLC. I feel like adding an expansion to the zoo with new animals is a great way to keep the game alive and bring even more replayability. So it's nice to see that they are thinking of the game's future. One of the last things I want to mention is the possibility that the parasite might only be contaminating warm-blooded animals, meaning there might not be any reptiles in the game. No one has asked about snakes or lizards yet, and we haven't seen anything. So that's just something to think about. That is all of the questions and new information we have so far about Zoochosis. The devs are pretty good about answering questions in their Discord, and it's cool to see. Are you excited for Zoochosis? Does any of this new information lead to more questions? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifiedT. Thanks for watching.